Phil Jackson's a racist, and upset Saturday in college football shakes up the rankings, and NFL goes south of the border before Trump's wall is built. But most importantly, we have a special guest tonight, songwriter extraordinaire A-Rod. All this and more up next on Sports Weekly.
You are tuned into Black Hollywood Live, Sports Weekly.
I said a nigga got some plans.
What? Jamming to A-Rod. What's the name of the song, A-Rod?
It's called The Script.
The Script.
Yeah.
Script.
Is it a new song?
Yes.
Hi!
It's a new song.
We have a guest, and our guest is Insta Storying. Is it Insta Story or Snapchat?
This is a snap right
It's a
now.
Snapchat, okay.
Yeah, it is a snap.
See, our guest likes to bring the social media to the actual live show. But we like that because we
All the
never
way
do
live.
that. All the way live. You guys are watching Sports Weekly every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. Your favorite sports squad in the world. We know that you're taking a break from that awful Thursday night football game to watch us. Thank you. We appreciate that. I'm Erica Renee Davis. You can find me on Instagram, Insta Story, and on Twitter at Erica Renee D.
What's up, y'all? You can find me on all those same platforms that Erica is on, at JJ the Talented.
What's up, guys? I'm Josh Rodriguez. You can follow me on Twitter and on Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez. And to the left of me, he's written for Ariana Grande, Omarion, Tamar Braxton, Fantasia, many more.
Yes.
And now he's lead singer of Av Da Vinci,
Yes.
Alice Rod Lambert, A-Rod.
Hey, once again, my name is A-Rod, and I'm a songwriter, artist, and I'm on all social media platforms under Welcome to the Av.
All right, guys, and as always, follow all things Black Hollywood Live on blackhollywoodlive.com. Follow us on Twitter at BHL Online, and follow us on Instagram at The Sports Weekly. Now, before we get into our show today, we gotta pick A-Rod's brain because you've written for Ariana Grande, Omarion, and you've written some pretty major hits. So tell us about how you got started in the industry as a songwriter.
Well, it all started in church. Thank you, Jesus.
Thank you, Jesus.
Done it always.
Thank you, Lord.
In a little town called Newark, New Jersey. Shout out to Brick City.
Okay.
Whitney Houston's hometown.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. So it started there, and I've done music my whole life in church, and I've written songs and stuff like that. So I've always had a knack for it. Then I went to college, did the whole college thing, graduated. Actually was working for the college in admissions, and I quit.
You quit college or you
Quit working for
okay,
the college
gotcha,
as an
okay.
admissions counselor.
So you were working
Sorry, Bloomfield.
After graduating, you were still working for the college?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I graduated and I was working for the college in admissions. 2010, I quit. Came out here to California, working with the producer Eric Hudson. He was working on Jamie Foxx's album. And the first time I got off the plane, went into the studio, and there was Jamie Foxx. Ended up having 3 songs on his album, and that's how my professional career started.
What
But,
3 songs on his album? And which album was it?
It was called The Best Night of My Life.
Okay.
Yeah, it was his 3rd album, I believe, and I did the intro to the album, and I did Sleeping Pill, and co-wrote with them this song called, Jesus Christ, it's been so long, 2010, right? It seems like it's been long. But this song called After It's All Said and Done. Yeah, so that's the beginning of the professional career. I started trying to be a writer in 2007, so from 2007 to 2010 was the sleeping in the studio, getting up, going to work, and hustling and bustling and trying to get into it. And, you know, thankfully it worked out.
So I was going to say, because between 2007 and 2010, you had to have had something that would, that you could have sent out to enable you to like get off the plane, go straight to the studio.
Yeah.
You had some kind of either
it was,
following or
my cousin
mixtape.
Drew, who was working with Eric Hudson.
Drew,
Shout
like
out
from Drew Hill?
Yeah. Well, yeah, Drew, hit Drew.
Well, I mean like Drew, like Cisco Drew Hill, but no. Okay.
No.
Drew like an Andrew?
Yeah, Andrew.
Andrew.
Yes, Andrew. So it was him, and what he did was he was working with Eric Hudson, and he knew I was grinding, and I was trying to get on with my boys Kaz and Wayne. Shout out Kaz and Wayne. I do a whole lot of shout outs because I feel like if I ever have a platform, then everybody got a platform, and I got like a list
Long
of
as they
people.
retweet us.
So yeah, retweet Black
Heck
Hollywood
yeah.
Live. So we was grinding and trying to get on. So Eric took a chance, and he said, come write some songs with me. So I went to his house and wrote songs and wrote for like 3 years with him, and was you know how it is. You're promised your break, and it's like, yeah, man, I'm gonna send this out. We're gonna do this, and this is gonna happen, and it's like, oh yeah, we right here. And I'm about to go get this car, and no, he wasn't about to get nothing for 3 years, and it was just like a steady grind, and thankfully he had some pull with the Jamie Foxx situation. He was like, I got a writer. I came, and that day nobody was in the studio. No other songwriters were there, and Jamie was usually surrounded by a bunch of writers. But this particular day that I showed up, nobody was there, you know? So I walked in there, and actually his godson was like, oh man, he having trouble trying to fix these words up. And you write, right? And I'm like, me? Yeah, I do write. He was like, hey, Fox, press the button. Man, Eric's friend right here, A-Rod, he's a writer. You want him to help you? And Jamie was like, come on, man, I've been sitting here this whole time. So I was like, okay. So within 30 minutes, I'm feeding him lines, and we going back and forth, and he told me to come back the next day, and I've been in LA ever since.
Nice.
Wow. Yeah. So then the checks start coming in, right?
Man, no.
Because you hear about the
I still
life,
want my check.
I was gonna say, because you hear about the life of writers, whether they're script writers or songwriters, that sometimes the music and the entertainment industry can be a little shady. Not saying that your situation was shady, but it's. I mean, no, not your situation was the antithesis of shady. But have there been times where you didn't get the credit you were supposed to get, or didn't get the check you were supposed to get?
Well, I've had some times where the trees was out, and it was a little shady going on.
Okay.
I've always, and this has been like who I've been my whole life, I've always been like a fighter, and I've always stood my ground, and I've always known like whose I was and who I was. I wasn't letting it ride. And like earlier on in my career, somebody threatened me like they're gonna blackball me. Like,
Of course, yeah.
Don't go against this particular artist because they wasn't trying to give me my credit because they'll make sure you'll never be anything in this industry. And I'm like, well, guess what? If I'm never anything in this industry, I'm gonna go back and teach. I got a degree.
You got a degree. Yeah.
I made it already in that aspect. So I don't have to do this, but you will respect me and you will give me what I'm owed. Yeah. And I stood my ground and I got my percentage.
Got it.
Okay.
And then,
I like that.
Yeah, and I'm still here. Thanks to God, So
Yeah, cool.
Sports affiliations?
Man.
Who do you like? Are you a Jets fan, Giants fan?
I am a struggling
What is it?
Eagles fan.
Eagles.
I feel like I like the
Philly, New
teams that
Jersey.
piss you off the most.
Okay.
The Eagles.
Al, you're an Eagles fan too?
Well, my fiance's from Delaware, so
Okay,
Philly,
okay.
so I have to root for them.
And the Mets. I like the Mets. I like the
That makes
Eagles.
sense.
Sports. As far as basketball, I never really had a basketball team. I like Shaquille O'Neal. So when I was little, I liked the Orlando Magic. And then I liked the Lakers. And then he started going all these other places.
Phoenix,
Cleveland.
Celtics.
I wasn't going to go with him to
Cleveland.
Phoenix. I was like, I can't go with you to Phoenix. I could go to Miami. So I ended up liking Miami for a while before LeBron came there. And I still liked them after LeBron came there because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
So I liked them for a while. And then when LeBron left, I left.
Right.
He took his talents to Cleveland, and I took my talents to nowhere. Until I could figure out who I like. So basketball, I'm not really sure who I like right now. But go Eagles.
Go Eagles.
We gonna figure it out. We trying.
Nah, you're not. No, you're not.
Well,
Okay, so you're into sports, politics. So you're on the hot seat.
I got it.
And I mean, you are a part of the crew tonight. So
Yes, and I'm honored to be here.
Listen,
Thank you for
we're honored
having
to
me.
have you. I want to ask you: have you ever met Whitney or Sissy or?
I did meet Whitney. And you know what's the craziest thing? I met Whitney Houston the day before she passed away.
man, you.
At the
Get outta
club
here.
at True?
Yeah, I didn't even know
Were you
that.
at True that night?
Yeah. That Thursday. Well, she passed away, I think, Saturday. So I met her that Thursday night when we were all in there in the little VIP area, and then she was leaving, and she was like, they don't know who we are. We from Jersey.
Right.
Northeast Orange, turning up because Faith Evans was there. She's from Newark. So she's like, we was all turning up with Jersey, and it was just this great time. And then, and then that happened. So that was crazy. That was
What were
devastating.
you doing in the club, man? Being a wingman? We know you have some celebrity hookup stories.
Right.
I've played a nice little wingman position in my life.
Because as we were talking, you've hooked up Ariana Grande with a couple of guys in her life.
What's
the connection?
Tell the people
By
out there the
happenstance.
story, because you told us off air, but we got to
Yes.
put this on the record, how you were Ariana Grande's wingman.
It's kind of by happenstance. I don't know if I was her wingman. I don't know if I was the guy's wingman, but pretty much I had the pleasure of co-writing The Way for Ariana Grande featuring Mac Miller, right? So when Ariana got the song. She came and she heard the song. She loved it. And she was like, we need to get a rap. And this is why I tell people Ariana is a boss. She took the song to Mac Miller, and he recorded it at his house. And she did the session. Like, she engineered the session.
Really?
Right? So they were on this song together, and I don't know if you ever seen that video, but they kiss at the end of the video and all of this type of stuff. And she had another boyfriend at the time, but, I guess it was on screen. It wasn't nothing serious. So they kissed at the end of the video, and I think he was feeling her back then. But, like, years later, after she ended up, with Big Sean, which was on the second record that I did with her, called Right There, which is featuring Big Sean, and then they started.
How does Right There go? That was a radio hit, wasn't it?
Yeah. You should know I'm never gonna change. I'm never be the same. You call for me, I'm right there. Yeah.
Okay.
So they were on that song together. And then next thing you know, they was going together. And then now she back with Mac Miller. So it's kind of, I feel like if anybody gets married, I need a +1 and an invite.
I agree.
If you're watching.
And a shout out in the bows.
Big
right?
Sean and Mac Miller.
Somebody help me out.
All right. Well, college football. I don't know how into college football you are. Are you?
Okay.
Okay. Well,
I watch it somewhat, on Saturdays if I'm at the barbershop.
Okay.
I watch some college football.
It's okay. I'm the only one
It's
who
more
eats,
exciting
sleeps,
now, though.
and breathes it.
Yeah, that's all you, Eric.
To me, it's more exciting now that it has that playoff system, because before it had like a bunch of like people who like just do sports columns and stuff, and they get to pick who's going to the championship.
yeah.
It was
And the
always dumb to me. It's like,
Yeah.
like why did they end
A
up
lot
there?
of sports awards and rankings are determined that way.
By the writers, like
By
the
the writers.
MLB,
Yeah.
like the Writers Association. There was this huge upset last night. I mean, you are a huge baseball enthusiast. With Kate Upton going off because Verlander got all those first place votes but didn't win.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how it used to be with college football too.
Yeah.
Like the BCS had the writers and then it had the computers. But now the college football playoff system is a little bit different. And basically last Saturday, 5 of the top 9 teams lost. 5 of the top 9 teams lost, and 3 of the top 5 teams lost. And that's the very first time that's happened since 1985. Michigan lost to Iowa. Clemson lost to Pittsburgh. Who else lost? Who? Washington lost to USC. And so in this system, the college football playoff committee basically had an opportunity to drop those teams out of the top 10, or they could keep them where they were, and they basically kept them where they were. There was a little bit of a shuffling going on. But the top 5 teams now, after last week's melee in the college football playoff, college football upset Saturdays, Bama's still number 1, undefeated, 10-0. Ohio State has 1 loss. They are number 2. Michigan lost to Iowa last week. They're number 3. Clemson lost to Pittsburgh last week. They're number 4. Louisville lost to Clemson a long time ago, and so they're number 5. So just really quickly, because I know, I could talk about college football all day.
Yeah.
No one else wants to.
This is all you.
Considering those losses last week by Washington, Michigan, and Clemson, would your top 5 look similar or different to how the CFP has it?
I'm going to say this. I mean, I don't follow college football that much, but Washington got killed by USC, right? And USC's pretty good, am I right?
Yeah, well, USC started off really, really slow this year, but now they are the hot team. Like, if you ask any analyst, any sports host, they will tell you that, yes, they started off very sluggish, but now USC is one of the scariest teams.
So how
in
come
football.
USC can't be in that top 5, top 6 area?
And I think that's a good
That's what
point.
the problem is, or the argument is right now?
Well, not that
No,
USC
because what
should.
is USC's record right now?
Well,
It's
they're
not-
7-3, so they're a 3
Oh, they lost
loss.
3 games?
Yeah,
Okay.
they're a 3 loss team. But go ahead, Uriah.
Well,
can't
I
do
mean,
that.
at the end of the day, it seems like Alabama is killing everybody.
Always.
Always. So, what's that? Roll Tide, right?
Roll Tide, there you go. There you
That's
go.
what I was
But I
saying.
feel like everyone knows that. I mean, I don't even watch college football, and I think I know that Alabama is by far the best
Bama.
college
Yeah.
football team in the country. And
Yeah.
from what I know, no one can beat Bama. Am I right on that? Or is Ohio
They're
State's
undefeated.
close?
They're
Roll
10-0.
Tide.
Michigan have a shot?
Well, okay, so with the top 4, so right now, the top 4, Bama, Ohio State, Michigan, Clemson. So considering that each of those teams would advance to their conference championships and win their conference championships, if the rankings stayed like they are, Bama would play Clemson, Ohio State would play Michigan.
That's a good game.
But so that's like right now at the end of today, that's what would happen. And I don't think Clemson could beat Bama. But before, because I don't want to belabor this point, I want to know, do you guys think the playoff should be a 14 playoff or should it expand to an 18 playoff?
Oh, it's got to be 18 because 4 teams is not enough to determine a college playoff when you have how many 300 teams. in all of college football. Not saying that they all should make it.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a top 5 and a top 10. So let's at least make the playoff 8, and because 4 is just too little slots,
Too
right?
little.
I completely agree with that. Actually, I don't know if I want to take it a step further and say 16.
Some people argue for
Let's
16.
do it.
I don't know if it should
Let's
be
do
16.
it.
16
There's so
seems
many
like
teams.
a lot.
In college basketball, we do it, right? We have
68.
16.
We have a field of 68 for.
How would you schedule that? Would they all play on the same Saturday, or would
Yeah, pretty much that same weekend they start. Or you can do, 12 and have 4 have a bye or something like that?
The top 4 have a bye.
Yeah, something
the
like
top
that.
4? Okay, like NFL kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think that would be better.
That's good. I like that one.
My thing is with in a perfect world, college football could emulate college basketball and have a field of
There's
16,
no way.
but you
Yeah.
can't though
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
football is so much more intense and so much more
Right.
physical, and you would have to give these kids off days. Like you couldn't have them playing a game on a Monday
something.
and a game on a Wednesday,
Jesus.
and they don't get paid.
Yeah,
Couldn't give them
they
2
don't
games
get
in a week
anything.
in college football.
I don't know. You couldn't give those kids. That's tough on a.
That's rough.
Isn't bowl season like a month and a half
It is a
already?
month. It is a month and a half
So
long.
just
stretch
out
it.
that playoff.
Just stretch it.
I see where you're going with that.
I
Just
don't know.
stretch it out. You don't have to play every week. Just play every other week, and you'll still have the same amount of time as bowl season is already.
I don't know. I disagree because there's already the problem already exists with academics being like having to suffer because the extra games, the bowl game. First off, you have your championship game. Like if you play in a conference that has a championship game, so you have that game, and then you have your bowl game, and then if you are top 4, then you have a playoff game, and then if you win your top 4 matchup, then you have like your another bowl game. So I just think logistically there will never be a perfect scenario, whether it's 8 or 16 or whether it stays at 4. I think that college basketball has it figured out.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can't have a field of 68 football teams. We
Outside
can't.
of the top 4, though, there are so many other good teams that could give that top 4 a run.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Louisville. I know they have a.
Well, Louisville's
Louisville
they're
is
getting their asses handed to them right now.
Are they?
By Houston.
And they're not in my top 5.
Is he in the running for the Heisman?
Well, he was. I don't know about tonight. After tonight,
man.
though.
Come on,
Oh,
bro.
but you still got to.
I had all my money
Check that
on you.
score.
This is another beef that I have with college football. If you win your conference, it doesn't mean anything depending on what conference you're in.
Yeah.
Like the winner of the ACC conference is not going to.
automatically go
But
and get a
should
bid
it?
for the
I win the
playoff.
conference,
Like
yeah.
college
But they
basketball.
could though, because right now Louisville and Clemson are both in the ACC.
Okay.
So
I just named so and so conference,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
there's going to be a conference champion that has no shot of winning the championship, and that's ridiculous to me.
But it depends on the competitiveness of your conference, though.
I get
like
that.
in the schools that are in your conference. Like if
Yeah.
your conference suck, I don't know if you should have a chance
Okay,
to win the
but the
championship.
major
still win
conferences,
it.
I'm talking SEC, the two
and-
SECs. I mean, I know the East is a joke right now,
Right,
but then
yeah,
you have
we're awful.
ACC, Big Ten,
Big Ten, so you have Big Ten, SEC, ACC, Pac-12, and Big 12. But Big 12 doesn't have a championship right now because
Right.
actually there are only 10 teams in the Big 12 right now. So you only have 4 of the Power 5 that actually have championship games within the conference.
And you don't think they each deserve a spot in a playoff system at least? I mean, what's the point of playing this whole conference schedule if you're just going to win a conference championship and go to a bowl game that's the equivalent of a participation trophy?
I mean, that's
No, it's the people that I've played the most in the season.
Right.
I'm the champion of the people that we usually
Right,
play.
right.
But I feel
That's
like
great,
that's
but you deserve some kind of national
In my-
recognition
Yeah.
too if you could earn it.
But it's like in my weight class.
So what if they made it that then? What if they made some kind of tiered system with the major conferences, mid-major, and on down? Like,
Well,
what if they did
there
something
is
like that?
a tiered system essentially, and I think
Yeah.
that what happens, like if you're in a Power 5 conference, if you're SEC, Pac-10, Pac-12, Big 10, ACC, then we have just accepted that that's just the law of the land.
Yeah.
Right, but what if you can get some smaller schools that can beat those teams and,
And-
earn their way into
And,
that?
and sometimes
that
sometimes you have the
limelight,
Boise States and
Right.
you know the teams who
like
do
Houston or something like that?
I want to see
and Houston.
Grambling in there or something. Got a band. Come on,
Grambling
let's
got
get the
some
band.
okay.
Not bad.
So I say keep it at 14. What do you say? You
I say make it 8, 12, 16.
I like 12.
What do you say?
I think 12 sounds cool because the top 4 get to take a little break. Everybody else battle it out, and then we figure it out.
NFL style. Okay, Josh, you go ahead. Big deal, no big deal.
Yeah, I'm down with
I'm
that.
gonna
Big
check
deal,
this
no big deal.
Louisville score.
So as we know, there's been a big shakeup in the White House lately.
Oh, Lord.
But I'm not talking about Donald Trump per se. I'm talking about the Cleveland Cavaliers making their championship trek to the White House to visit the White House and President Obama. The night before, Richard Jefferson of the Cavaliers did make a Snapchat little note, and he said, not a note, but it's a snap. He said, words cannot express the honor I feel being the last team to visit the White House. So it gave connotation that perhaps when Trump takes the White House and occupies the White House, that maybe other teams would choose to forego that championship visit to the White House.
No way.
You don't think that'll
Wait,
happen?
no way? Well, it's like even if the team decides to go, it's each individual player's decision
decide to go.
go or to
Because I
not
believe
go.
somebody
Tim
didn't
Thomas.
go
Yeah.
while Obama was there.
Yeah, Tim Thomas,
yeah.
goalie of the Boston Bruins, whenever he did
Yeah.
that.
He
Tom
didn't go.
Brady, 2011.
Tom Brady's ass. You know what?
Watch your time.
No, not 2011, but Tom Brady. Even the James Harrison.
He was somewhere.
Yeah, James Harrison.
He was somewhere deflating the balls. Like Tom Brady.
He decided not to go. So you can have the choice. But we're talking about NBA though only, which is a majority black league.
Yes.
Do you think that they would not go and?
It's the
to
White House. They're
But
going
you're going
to
to
the
go
White
shake
House.
Trump's hand, give him the jersey with his name on the back, do
Yeah.
a little glad handing and smiling with him
Listen,
in the picture.
LeBron is gonna have his behind in the White House with Trump. Like,
You think
I
so?
don't know.
So look, so they asked him that. They asked him his
Absolutely.
response if he would visit a Trump-occupied White House, and LeBron said, "I don't know. That's something that we'll have to cross when we get there."
and if he didn't want to, if it wasn't a possibility, this is why I say he will do it. He just would say no, I'm not going. Like, I got an uncle, right? If I got an uncle I don't like, and they're like, you going over Uncle Ronnie's house for Thanksgiving? Hell no, I ain't going over Uncle
Right.
Ronnie's house. Not, I'll wait till the day before Thanksgiving and see what my grandmother cooking. No, if I don't want to go, I'm not going to go. LeBron will go because LeBron is a statesman. He's
Okay.
bigger. I think he's a bigger person than to not show up. And honestly, I mean, Lord knows that I didn't want Trump to win, but you don't even know what he's going to do yet. Like,
That's
let him get in
true.
there, let him figure it out, and who knows they going to win. LeBron might not go because he might not
He
be
might
going.
not win.
No, you have a point there. But let's say LeBron didn't
No.
go. Would that affect your view of LeBron James?
No.
No,
Because I think
would
I
that
can
color America's view?
understand-
Could he afford to do that PR wise?
Listen, anything we do is like we're walking on eggshells no matter what. Like, my man took a knee.
Yeah.
And like they want to kill him. You know what I'm saying? So anything that we do, I don't even think LeBron or any of us should worry about what America thinks about us. You
Okay.
know what I'm saying? Because they're gonna hate regardless. If you do good things, they still be hating. You know what I'm saying? Beyonce was on the Country Music Awards, killed her performance,
She did.
and then she got a lot of racist hate in
From
the
country greats.
Exactly. So it's like, no. If he goes, he goes. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I believe he'll go though.
I don't know. I think that post-election, all of us are still very emotional, and so for Richard Jefferson and for LeBron to not say emphatically that they would go, I think that's an emotional reply because
Yeah.
we're a week out, a week and a half out, and everyone's still feeling very emo. I honestly I'm on this whole kick of I think we should be supportive of Trump's administration. I think I'm not quite there yet. But if they chose not to go, I would totally understand it because here's the thing: people who voted for Trump for some reason think he's not a politician. Y'all
Yes.
been brainwashed to think he's not a
He
politician.
has all the characteristics of a politician.
Thank you. That's a conversation for another show.
Yeah.
But politicians lie. They pander to bases to get elected. And I think that Trump pandered to people who rebuke multiculturalism and who adhere to white supremacy. And I think he preached a campaign of hate and misogyny and xenophobia and racism. But that rhetoric that he campaigned on might not be the same rhetoric that he actually leads with. So if he goes in a different direction as a president, then I would say teams go to the White House. But even if he does go a positive direction, because he got to where he is with the hateful rhetoric that he used, I could understand why a team would say, peace out, like the Grizzlies. The Grizzlies and the Milwaukee Bucks and the Mavericks have all disassociated themselves with staying at Trump-affiliated hotels when they travel now.
Nice hotel.
Nice hotels. So
It was.
so
that's
people
all
have the
stable.
right to disassociate themselves from that hateful rhetoric, even though he was going to drain the swamp. The swamp is full of people, and his cabinet is full of people who are swamp dwellers.
Swamp dwellers, yeah.
So I don't know. I'm straddling the fence. In other words,
Maybe did he pull the wool over everyone's eyes and
I think
to
he
win this
pulled
election?
the wool over his supporters' eyes the most.
Because did he just pull the biggest trick
Because
and fake
first
everybody
of all, what
out?
he did, I don't like him. I don't like his supporters, but what he did was so gangster.
Gangster.
He
What
heard
he
the people.
did was crazy.
J-Rod, you're quiet over there. Why are you so quiet?
I'm just listening to you guys talk.
Like, I got a Muhammad Ali shirt on right now. And what Trump did was like shock the world. Like the dude laying down is Hillary Clinton. And that's Trump.
Oh man.
It's like he spanked her and it was crazy. But I don't think that he's going to do a lot of the things that he said he's going to. He's already going back on stuff. My question to you guys, though, is if he invited y'all to the White House, are y'all going?
I wouldn't go.
At this point, I couldn't go.
I personally wouldn't go.
I'm going to the White House.
You are?
I've never been. I want to check it out.
I'm going to
I've
the
just
White
been to the front
House.
gate. If I can get in that gate,
No.
I'm checking it out.
Wait,
listen,
if
I'm
Donald
gonna
Trump
go to the
personally
White House.
invited you today, you would go to the White House to see Donald Trump.
Hey,
Hell yeah.
bruh,
If I was in
I'm
the
going
position to have
the
Donald Trump
White
invite
House.
me anywhere.
I'm eating the food. I'm drinking the drinks. I'm standing on the couches, and then I'm leaving.
Thank you.
Because they probably going to throw me
I
out.
don't know why y'all wouldn't. I'll take-
Albertus Magnus class of 2005 took a field trip there.
Inside?
You can follow my
went around.
snaps, brother, because
around.
I'm in that White House.
I never went to the White House. What school was that again?
Albertus Magnus High School, Bardonia, New York.
Well, Dr. Martin Luther King in Newark, New Jersey never would have went to the
Now,
White
here's
House.
my thing. I understand being
what?
supportive of the president, but I'm not supportive of the message that he brought forth to the country. So for me, I get the people who say, let's support the president, let's hope he does well. Yeah, let's hope he does well, let's just say economically, but if he does well in his supporters' eyes from what they want from him, we're not going to like the country that we're going to be living in. I don't want him to change this country in a way that's going backwards, which I think his rhetoric was doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to support him in certain areas.
My
yeah,
phone's
I hope,
blowing up right now, too.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I do hope that this country does get better and move forward. But I just, under what he was saying, I don't see it
The
happening.
country, I think, will make it. We made it through Bush. 8 years of crazy
It's not going to
Bush.
swing all the way
I
to
don't,
the.
I don't
right.
think
You
Bush.
can't get away with all that.
See, I think the difference between a Trump presidency and a Bush or a W presidency is that maybe the Bushes have the same racist values that Trump does. I mean, they're Texans, like they're old white money from Texas. It's fair to say they might have those same beliefs. But the difference is having that belief and then having a leader who makes you feel empowered
Exactly.
to act out on those beliefs.
Exactly. And I don't want to enable that at all whatsoever.
So,
Well, let me beat Kanye to it. Donald Trump doesn't care about black people. I want to beat him to that.
Back to the sports side of it, though.
Right.
Is that a big deal or no big deal? The fact that these teams may not go visit the White House.
That's a big
It's not. I think it's not a big deal because I think it's just like talk. If they actually don't go, it's a big deal. But if they go, then it was like, oh, all right, it wasn't nothing. I don't think it's something he put on Snapchat. They ain't do no like press conference like we're not going to the White House. So I don't think it was a big deal.
Well, it's a big deal if half the team doesn't go. Even if one or two people don't go, it's a big deal.
Yeah,
and I
but-
think right now, if a team were to go to the White House, at least half of the team would not go.
I think-
and that's a big deal.
You got to be the whole team or no team at all. I
Yeah.
think if you're going to do that,
I mean,
and I think that it'll give people a chance to say, hey, look at those black people who aren't being.
Well,
good
let
sports.
me say this. We're talking about people who put on T-shirts that said "I can't breathe," and outside of putting on T-shirts, I don't know how much they really did to really stand for something. It's not a lot of people who are willing to take that knee like Kaepernick did, or even do something more like, all right, I'll boycott, like I'm not playing today until something changes. So right now we're talking on people who just talk.
see, I disagree with you.
I don't know
I
how
disagree with
serious
you.
it is.
And let me say this. I think that there always could be more action. There can always be more done. There can always be more rich, influential people reaching back and doing more, being better. But I think that there's this narrative in the black community that we don't do enough. When actually, I might wear a T-shirt, but Brandon Marshall actually is meeting with, officials in Denver on his off days on Tuesdays to get sensitivity training to help white officers in Denver learn to be more sensitive to black people's needs. And then you have Colin Kaepernick who took the knee, and now the owners of the 49ers are donating millions of dollars to organizations in San Francisco that are teaching sensitivity training for white officers and in ethnic communities. I mean, I could go on and on. Like, my sister always clowns on Beyonce for just being a booty shaker and a leotard. But I'm like, Beyonce gives a lot of money to the impoverished communities in Texas and in Louisiana where her parents and where she's from.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of people who are wearing T-shirts, but there are also a lot of people who wear T-shirts whose storylines we don't see every day because the mainstream media doesn't report on those storylines. And a lot of these athletes are going to toot their own horn and be like, oh, look what I did. But they know where they're, first of all, it's a write-off. Like, you give money back and you write that thing off. So all I'm trying to say is that, yeah, there are people who are apathetic who will wear the T-shirt and not actually have, and be active. But then there are a lot of people who are actively wearing the shirts and then giving back.
Yeah. I guess my thing is, I just want to know how about it you are.
Okay, we'll
Are
see.
you really about it or not?
About
You know what I'm saying? Because right now you're saying, oh,
All right, but if you're really about it, then you're not going to the White House.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, we're gonna see.
So we'll
So
see.
then you're not about it.
First thing.
Exactly,
what,
'cause you
about
said you were
going to the White
going.
House. Oh, I want to go to the White House to see what's in there,
He's
what's
not
going
about
on.
it. He's not
First of
about
all,
it.
and secondly,
Yeah.
this is my thing. Going to the White House don't mean you support Trump. Just like going to the White House didn't mean somebody supported Obama. Many people go many places.
True.
You know what I'm
that's
saying?
true. Yeah, that's true.
The
White House
same guy I
has
just
been there
quoted
from the
with Kanye West, who said he don't care about black people, was at the opening of the African American Museum. George Bush. So it doesn't matter. It's not going somewhere doesn't mean that you support the person that's in it. It means I understand that this place is historic. I understand that everybody doesn't get a chance to go inside of these walls, and especially people who look like me, especially people who come from where I come from.
There are a lot of people who look like us
so
who are in the
where
White House.
I want to, so you know what I'm saying? I don't know a lot of people from Newark, New Jersey, that get to go anywhere to nobody's house.
Right. You're funny.
Especially the White House. So
So
I
big
wanna
deal
go.
for you.
I say big deal.
Big deal for you.
It's not. I don't think it's.
Oh,
a
no big deal.
No
Big deal. I say
Big
big
deal.
deal.
Do your Posse. My Posse's on Broadway.
Lord.
Yeah. So this is another one. Okay. So in a statement, Phil Jackson made a statement that he used the word posse that people are up in arms about. I want to bring the statement up. Can I read this? I want to read it to give it its context. Let me make sure I find it. Did I lose it? Do I have it? Do you guys have the statement? Here, I got it.
Oh, you got it? Phil
Yeah.
Jackson and what he said about LeBron and his friends back in 2004, before LeBron was LeBron, when he was still a man-child.
It's a man
So
child.
it's a little lengthy, but he was being interviewed by a magazine columnist, and then he was talking about a conversation he had with Pat Riley about LeBron, and he says it had hurt when they lost LeBron. Jackson said that was definitely a slap in the face, but there was a lot of little things that came out of that. When LeBron was playing with the Heat, they went to Cleveland, and he wanted to spend the night. They don't do overnights. Teams just don't do it. So now Coach Eric Spoelstra has to text Riley and say, what do I do in this situation? And Pat Riley, who has iron fist rules, answers, you are on the plane, you are with this team. So Jackson says, you can't hold up the whole team because you and your mom and your posse want to spend an extra night in Cleveland. Now, Maverick Carter, who was in LeBron James's posse, along with Rich Paul.
Rich Paul.
Who's in LeBron James's posse.
Childhood friends from the hood.
Maverick Carter took exception to that, and he tweeted a tweet that said, in this day and age, we're still being called posse, even though we've made it this far. That wasn't a quote verbatim, but it was in those, around the same thing. We've made it this far, and they're still referring to us as posse. LeBron James came back and made a statement about that, and he says that he had respect for Phil Jackson as a coach, but now he has nothing for Phil Jackson.
Yeah.
It's a shame that young African Americans have to be referred to in 2006 as that term,
16.
posse. 2016, sorry.
It's okay.
Have to be referred to as a posse. It's unfortunate he said that young African Americans have to be referred to as a posse. So LeBron James, it seems like he made it a race issue where it wasn't before. This is just my opinion. But what do you guys think? Is Phil Jackson, using the word posse, is he a racist?
I personally don't know if Phil Jackson is a racist. I don't think he is, and I don't even know if LeBron was necessarily making it a race thing. More so than just being offended that Phil Jackson would try to delegitimize, his friends that have built this empire.
But
with him.
I think he did make it a race thing. I think
Did he
LeBron did. I mean, because he talked about black. I think he threw in black.
I think he did. He might have.
He did. He said it just sucks now at this point having one of the biggest businesses you can have both on and off the floor, having a certified agent in Rich Paul, having a certified business partner in Maverick Carter that's done so many great business deals, that the title for young African Americans is the word posse.
So
Okay, so he did make it a race thing, but I still think it's more so that Phil Jackson more so was not looking at them as successful businessmen, right? And
But
I don't
why?
know.
But why though?
why would
But I
Maverick-
don't know if Phil Jackson would look at a young white kid as successful businessman and not say, oh, him and his crew or him and his whatever. And I don't think the word posse is necessarily a racial term either. You know what I'm saying? But I can understand why LeBron would take offense to it. And it's like, just because you don't mean something to be racist doesn't mean that it's
True,
not racist.
true.
You know what I'm saying? And doesn't mean that you shouldn't have said it. Even Carmelo. Carmelo is like, yo, I can understand, even though we know Carmelo probably don't like Phil Jackson. He's like, hey Knickerbockers. He's like, I can understand why LeBron would take offense to that. And even he said, I don't think Phil is racist, and I don't think he meant it as a racist person. I just feel like he might be out of touch, and I feel like he might not respect what these guys have done from the time LeBron came into the league, straight out of high school until now, and the empire that they've built together.
See, and therein lies, and that is why a LeBron or someone else, and I'm on the fence about this. I know you're supposed to pick a strong stance, but I'm on the fence too about this. But like you just said, you think that Phil was just being dismissive of a bunch of young kids who have done what they've done and have been as successful as they are. But as successful as they've been over the 12-year LeBron NBA career, not just on the court, his endorsements, his philanthropy, how could you deny that? Like, what about that group of people makes you still able to willfully, in public, in the media, deny
Well,
that?
Phil
Does they
has
have
never been supportive of LeBron, though. If you really think about it, he really, I don't know if he really likes LeBron, and it's crazy because he talks about LeBron getting, like preferential treatment or stuff like that, and it's like, bro, you
What the
coach
subject was.
Michael Jordan.
Yes, the biggest
And Kobe
diva.
Bryant. And
The
you're not going to
biggest
tell me they didn't
diva.
get special treatment. You're not going to tell me Kobe Bryant didn't get
But
special
did-
treatment in LA and Michael didn't get it in Chicago. So how could you even be mad at LeBron? And then it's crazy because if I'm not mistaken, what I've heard from my little inside sources is that the issue was Thanksgiving. The issue was LeBron's mom was going to cook Thanksgiving dinner, and they were going to go to Toronto after the game in Cleveland. So they said, instead of going to Toronto tonight, when we don't play them until tomorrow, let's
Have
stay in
dinner.
Cleveland and have Thanksgiving dinner. My mom will cook for everybody. And we can, make it a family affair. So it wasn't like they just wanted to go party or they wanted to chill with Ray Ray and them. It was like something special
look at
LeBron
you,
wanted
Ray Ray
to
and
do for everybody. As a team leader and as somebody who wanted to build that camaraderie with his brothers on the team. So it's crazy now it's coming back seeming like he was just being like a prima donna. And
LeBron could have said that. He had the opportunity to say that and clarify it. And I think a lot of people would then have maybe changed their opinion about it if you brought up the whole Thanksgiving thing. But what I think Phil Jackson is saying, because in Phil Jackson's NBA, which started in the 70s, 80s, 90s, a player did not hold up a whole team.
Yeah.
You're a player on this team, and you don't have any preferential sway or any kind of control over the team. You're a part of this team, and you're going to leave with us and travel with us. So we're not going to give you and your posse that that preferential treatment. We're not going to do it, or you and your crew. And I think we can interject either word, crew or posse, and I don't think it has any racial tone from Phil Jackson's mouth.
J-Rod, you're itching to say
The
something.
one thing about Phil Jackson that no one's really talked about is that Phil, in general, is just a condescending person. You ever hear him talk about the
I can see
game
that.
of basketball?
Yeah.
I mean, he's very condescending. He thinks he's a god in NBA history. I guess you can technically say he is, but he knows it at least.
Yeah.
And the way he talks about basketball is very condescending. And I think that's just part of his personality. I'm not sure if it's racial, but I will say that when the word posse is used, it's not really used to describe a group of young white men.
Yeah.
It is used to describe young
brothers.
African Americans. And I don't
Or
think...
ethnic, it could be Latino.
Okay,
But yeah.
But he definitely didn't use it in a positive term. I think he did throw a dagger.
I haven't heard
Whether
the
or
word
not it was
posse
racial or not, though,
in
I'm not.
like 30 years.
This is the thing with
Right.
racism too. It's very, very hard to prove.
Yeah.
They make it unless they come out and say, "I hate
it's not
so."
overt.
It was
wasn't
a jab.
Exactly.
I think it was a jab. It was a dig because he's saying, this kid shouldn't, decide where the whole team stays. Yeah, of course. But was it racial? No.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's racial either. I think it's more Phil's personality and his condescending
And his age.
It wasn't racist.
That too.
It
but it
racist.
was racial.
I think it has racial
I
undertones.
think it had some racial undertones to it.
It keeps
Because like you
from
said,
Phil Jackson's mouth,
I
you're
don't
saying
know
that he had a
if he
racial-
would have said J.J. Barea in his posse.
Well, maybe Berea. Maybe J.J. Berea. Maybe J.J. Berea.
I don't know.
You brought up earlier, J.J. Redick. What do you say, J.J. Redick's posse?
Not Gordon Ray.
Well, what we said before you got here, A-Rod, I talked about how Donald Trump is hiring a lot of his own insiders. He might be hiring
His posse.
his son-in-law to be one of his cabinet, take one of his cabinet positions. Would we describe Donald Trump's cabinet of people that he's known in his non-political career as posse?
Never.
Yes, because he
Yeah,
wants to
never.
round up
No,
all the
we
Mexicans
wouldn't.
and the Muslims just like a posse was back in the Old West.
But
He
word
wants to
up.
round them all up. That's his
Word
posse.
up, that's
But
his
no one
posse.
would say posse.
Gang,
Posse-
gang, gang, gang. That's his
I
gang.
think posse is directly linked to the African American community.
And
So he
that's
wouldn't
why-
call J.J. Redick, he wouldn't
think so.
refer to his crew as a posse.
Alexis, what were you gonna say?
I was just gonna say that the only people I ever hear using the word posse are old men.
Yeah.
Whatever they're describing are usually just a bunch of youngins who are just causing havoc. It could be black, white, whatever. It's just,
Okay.
I have a Filipino grandpa and he uses it all the time. And I don't think he actually knows what the hell it means. And,
Okay.
And women. Like, oh, I'm
Posse.
going with my posse to go get our nails done. Like, I've
Posse.
never heard,
I never heard that.
anybody actually. I
Bruh.
have.
Okay.
Somebody's going to make a song.
All right, so
But
That's
like,
the word
I'm just
posse
saying,
now.
like, I'm not gonna say that there isn't racial undertone. I'm just thinking that Phil Jackson's an old fucking man. Oh, excuse me.
He's an old man.
Yeah.
And he's
Definitely.
just using
Yeah.
his other term when he didn't have another term.
I agree with that.
He
I don't
comes from
think
the
he-
same generation as our parents.
parents.
And my dad watches freaking westerns all night.
Yeah, my stepdad, who's only
Phil Jackson is a
48,
hater.
uses posse for everything, for my brother's friends, for my friends. Like,
Okay.
it doesn't
Okay.
even matter, you
Okay.
know?
I feel like we have to have a
Let's
segment
squash that.
every week just called "Is It Racist?"
I know we should. I like
Is
that
it
actually.
racist?
I like that.
Big deal or no big deal?
I say it's a big deal.
Big deal?
I say even let's say it doesn't have racial undertones. I think it's a big deal because you are dismissing and being insensitive about what this group of young men, period. I don't
Yeah,
care what their
yeah.
ethnic background is. You have dismissed 12 years of hard, successful work that these men have done. They came from not the most ideal set of circumstances, and you're still dismissing it as, oh, they're just a posse. Racial or
Him and
not,
his posse.
big deal that you dismiss that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I say no big deal because if he's gonna hold up our plane, that's you and your posse need to get your
You're
asses
wrong.
on the plane.
You're wrong.
Yeah.
You're wrong.
I don't think it's a big deal. I think the story's going to die in about
Definitely.
2 or 3 days.
They
So
just
that's
don't
why
have
I say no
anything
big
else to
deal.
talk about right
Yeah.
now.
And why are they
It's
so oversensitive
crazy.
about this? I mean, as you grow and get more success, people are gonna hate on you from all sides.
Yeah.
If it's hate,
I don't know if they
So
were
what?
oversensitive. It's not like, once again, it's not like LeBron was like, took a news conference and took time out and was like
Yeah, he was asking
mad
questions.
about it.
Yeah.
Somebody asked him a question. He was like, nah, I don't like him no more.
Right.
Also, you don't
Get
know
out of
what
here. He's
type of
whack.
experiences LeBron has had with that word. Maybe it brings back something.
Or you don't know what type of experiences he's had with Phil Jackson.
That's true.
That too.
Hey, I'm gonna
That too.
let's
This
talk,
your last
let's talk some
strike.
DraftKings real fast, and then we'll do DraftKings, and then we'll do NFL Monday Night Football in Mexico since we're talking about posses.
Hombres.
Bad hombres. Okay, how's your fantasy football season going? I don't know. Mine is
Up and down.
up and down. I don't know how your fantasy football teams are doing out there, but if they're sucking like mine is sucking and like J Rod's is sucking.
Whoa. Up and down.
Sucking.
Doesn't mean sucking.
Up and down means bad. Connotation bad. DraftKings is for you. Let's say your starting running back has 2 pulled hamstrings. Let's say that your sleeper pick is still doing what? Still sleeping? Well, you go to DraftKings.com and you can actually have a new season. I guess look here. Have a new season every single week. That means you don't have to have a season-long commitment. And when your team sucks one week, you have another chance to come back the next week bigger and better than ever. DraftKings is the only destination that you should be going to for 1 week fantasy football. Just pick your contest, draft your team, follow the action live every single week. How do you do it? You go to DraftKings.com right now, this very second. Do not wait. Don't hesitate. And use the code BSports as in, I don't know,
Black.
as in black. Use the code BSports as in black, and you can play for free with your very first deposit. So this has to be your first time. That's how you get to play for free. That's the code BSports. Play for free. DraftKings.com. Tell them we sent you, and you send us a check when you win some money. Okay.
And shout out James Harden for getting me 26 points, 14 assists, and 12 rebounds on my
What?
DraftKings lineup tonight.
oh yeah, you gotta pick
DraftKings
James
basketball.
Harden all day, every day.
Nice.
NFL Monday Night Football in Mexico.
Who's winning?
Well, next week.
Next week.
Oh, Thursday Night Football. I don't know who's winning that
Thursday
game.
night, that's the Panthers were up at
it's
halftime last
Panthers
month.
and
I'll check
Saints.
right
Does
now.
anybody care? I don't.
Fantasy football. 23-6 Panthers.
Well, that's good for my Panthers defense, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Breeze has a couple turnovers.
Oh.
All right, well, Monday Night Football is in Mexico this
Nice.
Monday. The Raiders take on the Texans. And I want to know, do you think it's a good idea for the NFL to look into teams moving to Mexico should the NFL expand globally? I know they've talked about it before, but they never actually really gotten the ball rolling. So,
If they
do you
move into
think
Mexico,
this is just,
would they have to pay that extra tax that Trump wants to
get over the wall.
to
To get
pay?
over the wall.
To get over the wall.
They're not gonna go to Mexico. They're not gonna go to China.
Will they still be American
Like, would they?
if they go to?
well, listen, Mexico has 9 live games a week broadcasted. They have Sunday Night Football, Monday Night Football. They have the Red Zone channel. And on top of that, a big benefit of having games in Mexico as opposed to London, they have the same time zones
That's
oh,
true.
I thought you were gonna say the food.
as that too.
Taco Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what I
Taco
was gonna
Monday.
say tequila.
Right.
You have a fan base in San Diego Chargers who I assume, big Mexican fan base, right?
They should move to Mexico.
Right?
Now, yes.
Should the Chargers
Move the
move
Chargers to
Let's move
Mexico.
the Chargers.
Let's start that campaign
And
right
the
now.
Raiders.
No, Raiders. Keep them
the
here.
Raiders on
Raiders,
the-
Raiders and the Chargers.
Raiders are 7 and
The Mexico City
Maybe
2 right now.
Chargers.
The Mexico City.
I like
don't
that.
like that.
I like it.
I like something more like the Mexico City Umbre.
Mexico
Hombre.
City Aztecs. The Mexico City
The
Aztecs.
sombreros.
Sombreros.
The Aztecs.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
But
I do like that.
Do you think they should move globally?
Well, I feel like the NFL should definitely go global. I mean, this is what I think about the NFL, NBA, MLB, all of that. Like, they say the world champs.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it just be, especially in the NFL, like, it's not a lot of people from overseas. It's like, the
That's
world
true.
champs.
We're the only ones that
what
play it.
world?
Well,
America
for the
only.
NFL, we're the only ones that play it anyway, right? Us in Canada, and I don't think they're really gonna make a move on us.
It's like, well, and then also, I feel like it would give a lot more athletes who don't make it onto NFL teams currently. Like, if they added a new NFL team and it was in Mexico, maybe, like, I see, like, people like starving football player outside the stadium trying to get on. Maybe he go down to Mexico, he get on.
No,
No, because
Because-
they didn't make it for a reason. So they're not good enough.
And not only that, like if the NFL, like they would take an expansion team, or they would take a team that already existed, of,
Chargers.
like Chargers,
Yep.
or the
gonna take the
Raiders,
Chargers?
or say the Titans or the Texans.
The Chargers already play in Mexico.
Essentially, but let's make it
Play in
official.
San Diego.
Let's put the Chargers over that wall. Y'all go over the wall. Y'all can just climb with your bare hands and not ever come back.
Do you think that can be feasible though? There's a team in Mexico, there's a team in London, and how would players react to that?
I don't think a team in London will work
Me
because
either.
of the time difference. Like
Okay.
when we have the London
tough.
games, we have to wake up in California,
6
West
in the
Coast
morning.
to at 6 to watch these games. So no. But Mexico, yes, I like the Mexico idea.
They should have a team in like Puerto Rico.
I mean, who's gonna go except
go.
the people in Mexico, right? And then we would have to get a passport to go.
Yeah, but I mean, who would go to a Cardinals game except for the people in Phoenix? Like,
I mean, but
the
you
same
can-
thing.
I thought you were talking about the same
the
thing.
obstacles aren't the obstacles aren't the same though. It's not international. I mean, there's a couple obstacles.
If I
being
wanted to
an
go to-
international
Who would go to
And
a
then-
Brooklyn Nets game except
Are
for people
the-
in Brooklyn?
Right.
people
I mean,
in Brooklyn go to
is the
already
viewership
red.
there? I'm sure the NFL would consider if the viewership was there, if dollars were there to support the team.
Yeah.
I'm sure they would consider it. But as far as Mexico and the rest of the world, soccer, football is the real football.
Yeah,
so that's not
football.
going anywhere.
True. But like I said, I mean, the ratings are up in Mexico. The ratings are down here in the United States. It kind of
That's
makes
because
sense.
San Diego, let them go.
I think that's. I don't know. The NFL is getting soft, man. I think like people like my grandfather don't want to watch it. He used to people
Right.
like leaving out with their teeth missing. So
Right.
it's like,
And like the fingers broken
Yeah.
and still playing with a broken arm.
yeah. So
don't have that
I think
anymore.
people don't want to watch that no more. It's like, oh man, it's like
Soft.
touch.
Yeah.
Two-man touch
Right,
out
flag.
there.
No fun league.
Can't
The
guard
NFL's
the
just
wide
been toying
receiver.
with this idea for like a decade now, and they haven't done anything.
Do it, NFL. Move a team to Mexico. Let me
it.
tell you.
Okay, so how about for other sports? So we want
Yes,
sports to expand.
Move
to
a baseball
international?
team, move an MLB team to Mexico.
Oh, yeah, it'd be
for
fun.
sure.
Move the whole National Hockey League somewhere else.
No,
Canada.
you're not into hockey.
Take it somewhere.
Hockey is fun. You
No
go to a
one's
hockey game.
into hockey.
Hockey is fun.
Hockey is fun to watch.
Hockey is fun to watch.
I watch ESPN and
Go.
they hate talking about hockey when they come out.
Go to a game. Go to a game one time. You'll like it. Hockey's fun.
highlights.
Yeah.
Right,
Rangers
right.
win 2-1.
I don't know if I want to go to a hockey game in Trump's America. It just seems
That's a good point. That's a good
It's
point.
not NASCAR. There's a ton of
NASCAR.
Move NASCAR to Mexico, please.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Where is NASCAR right now? I feel like it's only in North Carolina.
North Carolina,
Dover,
Indiana,
Delaware.
It's everywhere.
Florida,
California, Arizona.
Pomona, California.
Get outta
It's
here.
not
Really?
in Dover, Delaware.
Yes, it
County.
is.
Over there.
It's in the Dover racetrack.
Is that horses?
Look it up right now. I guarantee you there's a racetrack in Dover. Look it up.
NASCAR's everywhere except the
Look at-
Northwest.
So we all agree that they should take an NFL team to Mexico. Yay.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Why not? Let's share with our Mexican brothers and
Oh, there it
sisters.
is.
Yep, I drove by it 2 or 3 times on my way to Ocean City,
I've
Maryland.
never seen this. I've been
Ocean
all
City,
over
Maryland.
I've never
Crab
seen
cake.
this.
Crab.
Sitting at the boardwalk.
Man, I need to just go there anyway, just to go.
It's huge. It is huge.
I don't know how I missed that. Okay.
I don't know how you missed it either.
Real quick before we wrap and tell A-Rod that we love him so much he had to come back. You guys watched Tony Romo's presser this week?
I
Didn't watch it. No.
Didn't watch it. Where
Ended on a sad note.
Wait, is that sad? Are you a Cowboys fan?
I'm not a Cowboys fan, but it's so bad. You know, when you watch somebody who know they're at the end of their rope and it's like,
Damn.
taking a long Green Mile walk.
And you got somebody good replacing you.
Yeah,
Doing
you
better
got
than
to
what you were
stand up
doing.
there.
I don't think he's done though. I think
Who's a rookie?
I think he should seek a
done
trade
there.
or go to an. Yeah, he's done Dallas.
Is he done? So you don't think there's any set of circumstances in Dallas? Because look, this is Cowboys' remaining schedule: Ravens, Redskins, Vikings, Giants, Tampa Bay, Lions, Eagles. Like
That's a loss. The Eagles, we're going to beat them.
I don't know about that, but I mean,
Did they beat them? They beat Eagles already?
They beat us.
yeah,
but
they beat everybody except for the Giants first game
we
because they're
lost every
8-1.
game. We lost every game in our division so far. That's how I know we have to win.
You have to
something.
win. So that's a pretty tough schedule. I mean, you never know what Kirk Cousins is going to do. Sam Bradford's up and down with the Vikings.
That
The
defense
Giants.
is tough.
Wait, Ravens.
Ravens
defense
is
is
this Sunday.
tough.
Ravens defense is tough. Lions, Matthew Stafford's the comeback king, and that defense sometimes steps up and shows its face.
Just Vikings. You gotta watch out for on that one.
So, is there any set of circumstances where Dak goes on, not just Dak, but the team in general, goes on a losing streak or loses 3 or 4 games and loses its footing as top team in the NFC South, and it's NFC East, and they say, oh, Tony Romo, you are
It would
healed."
have to be. They would have to lose because of Dak.
Okay.
Yeah, well, we've seen this before, somewhat with Alex Smith and Colin Kaepernick.
Colin Kaepernick,
where
yeah.
there's just this young quarterback. No one really knows how to play him yet. Like
True.
same situation with Kaepernick. No one knew how to play Kaepernick. But give it next year. Let's see how they do. Are they gonna have the same steam next year? Because teams are gonna be studying tape. They're gonna come back and say, okay, we know how to defend this guy. And if it goes downhill, it's going to be one of those toss-ups. Like, who do we start this week?
That's a very fair point, but I think that Dak is protected by that offensive line.
That
Yes,
O-line
it's a
is off the
great
chain.
Which is
O-line.
ridiculous. And Dak is not Colin, where Colin relies on his athleticism. He's smarter. He's calm in the pocket. He brings like a calming sense to the team. It's very interesting. He reads defenses very well. So I think he's the real deal.
Well, I'll tell you one thing.
Yeah.
In Trump's America, no white quarterback wanted to stand up this week and say, I'm giving this over to the black guy. It just wasn't supposed
He's only
to
half.
happen.
He's only half.
Well, I was gonna
There's
say
like
that.
some
It's only
young-
half as bad because he's biracial.
Wait, can you refer to him because it's the Cowboys? Can you refer to them as a posse?
Yeah.
Are the Cowboys a posse?
The Cowboys always been a posse. They
They
have
have been a
Michael
posse.
Irvin.
Yeah.
Cocaine. It's always been that. But like you said, it's only half, but it's like George Bush, Texas, had to give it over to the half black guy.
He did.
Tony Romo giving it over to the half black guy.
Yep.
Yeah.
And as soon as the half black guy mess up, the white dude who owned the team gonna be like, come on back.
Come on
But it
back.
won't be Tony Romo, though.
It won't.
They won't give it back to
It'll
him.
be the NFL version of
Donald Trump, right?
and I don't know who that is.
Johnny Manziel.
Probably.
Hey Rod, we've loved having you, but we got to wrap. So before we go, tell everyone again where what you're working on right now.
Okay, currently I have a song coming out with Pitbull and J-Lo
nice.
on his next album. I have some stuff with LaPortia Renee. She's signed to Motown. And then I'm working on my own project. It's going to be called The Magic Show, and it's with my band, Av Da Vinci. You can check our stuff out. Like I said, welcome to the Av. It's the website and all on social media, and I'm definitely grateful for being here today.
We'll have you back for
having
sure.
Thank
We just talked all of our time all the way up. I'm Erica Renee Davis. You're watching Sports Weekly every Thursday night at 7 o'clock. You can find me on Instagram, Insta Story, and on Twitter at Erica Renee D.
Shouts out to you and your posse for joining us tonight. My name is Joshua Johnson. Find me on social media at JJ the Talented.
I'm Josh Rodriguez. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram at Josh_Rodriguez_.
And once again, welcome to the Av. A shout out Reggie Reg and Dre and Nat and Ariana and everyone else for watching. Yeah, I told you I had my shout outs, my mama and
Hey, Mom.
Dee Dee and everybody.
What's up, New Jersey? As always, follow all things Black Hollywood Live on BlackHollywoodLive.com. Follow Black Hollywood Live on Twitter at BHL Online. Follow us on Instagram at The Sports Weekly. And until next week, my posse on Broadway.
We out.
From executives Kevin Undergaro, Dario Kristian, Tiana Hobson, and the entire BHL staff, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us. info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I am the official voice of Black Hollywood Live, Scipio. Instagram me at KingXOBay. Thanks for tuning in.
Hollywood Redefined.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.